Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're not a subscriber, hit that subscribe button right now. And to my old subscribers, you know the vibes. It's been a while I did a sit down. Sat down. It's been a while I did a sit down video, and this is going to be the first for the year 2024. Based on somebody's request, the person requested that I give the steps that I used to apply for my OPT and time that I used to apply for jobs. Quick disclaimer, I'm not working with USCIS, neither am I an immigration officer. I'm just giving you advice based on my own experience. So do your own research. Be sure to do your research. Please don't come for me in future. Anyways, getting right into the video. Okay, I'm going to apologize in advance, guys. If you see me looking down, it's because I'm looking at my iPad. That's where the information needed for this video is. So bear with me, okay? All right, so first I'm going to let you understand what OPT is. OPT is optional practical training, and it is divided into two different groups. Like we have post-completion OPT, we have STEM OPT. Post-completion OPT is the one for people like us, social science students, art students, that basically not for science students. Science students have the opportunity to do more than 1 year. So post-completion OPT is optional practical training that you use after you finish your program here in the United States of America. And mind you, to do this, to apply for the 1 year internship, paid internship, it has to be a job that is related to the course that you studied in school. Okay, for example, I studied social work. I got my master's in social work, and then I finished and I applied for a job at an organization where they practice social work. Let's say you studied computer science in school. That is STEM, but let me just use it as an example. You studied computer science in school. You can actually apply for a job that is related to computer, like a computer job. You can do like IT, cybersecurity, software engineering. It depends on what you want to do. So basically, just note that OPT can only be completed when you get a job with an organization related to the course that you studied in school. Okay, how do I know I'm eligible for this program? First, you have to have a valid F1 visa. If your I-20 or your visa is expired, bro, I don't know. But you have to have a valid I-20, because the I-20 is what you're going to use basically for your application. That means you have to communicate with your DSO on campus. Make sure you carry them along, and then you let them know it's almost time. Most schools, they kind of like do training fair or something, like an event to lecture you or tell you what to do on how to apply for OPT. So I'm sure your school is going to handle that. But anyways, you have to have a valid visa. You have to be enrolled in a full course of study in your school, which you're about to complete. Yeah, I'm in school. What am I saying? Anyways, and make sure that you have not exceeded 12 months of full-time CPT. There's also something called CPT. If you decide to do like few months of internship, maybe during summer, you can do CPT if you want. But I really don't recommend it to people, because first you have to like be taking courses online on campus for summer to be able to do CPT. So it's going to be like you're in school and then you're doing internship. It's a little bit complicated, but yeah, that's by the way. Going back to OPT discussion and the eligibility, be sure that you have not exceeded 24 months of pre-completion OPT. Then job offer is not required to apply for OPT. Your OPT, you can apply for it before you find an employer. Don't worry about, I need to get a job before I apply for the OPT. No, just have the necessary information and documentation for your application, which is basically your visa, your passport information, your I-20, and so on. So I'm going to talk about like types of employment. There are different types of employment. There is multiple employers, which means that you can do like multiple jobs as long as it's not exceeding 40 hours. And also it is related to the course that you studied in school. There is work for hire, commonly referred to 1099. So the second one is you can start a business. I actually tried starting a business, but there's a lot to it than it is said. There is a lot to it than it is said. But anyways, if you're somebody that is into business, that you're considering business, you just need to get LLC and then you get started. You can start a business for your OPT. That's the self-employed business owner. And then you should be able to prove that you can have the proper business license, which is the LLC that I mentioned earlier, that is related to your degree. So note that whatever employer you're looking for, the job has to be related to the degree you got from school here in the United States. If you decide that, okay, I can work without getting paid, there's also that one. You can work as an intern somewhere and then you won't get paid for your services. It's just for you to complete your OPT and then to get experience for your CV or for your documentation, your resume and stuff like that. So if that's also what you can do, yeah, why not? So there is a rule called 90-60-90 rule. 90 days, that's the OPT application window. Like the window for OPT application opens 90 days before your program completion. So before your graduation, before you finish your program, be sure to apply for your OPT 90 days before graduation. So let's assume you're graduating June or you're graduating May, 90 days before May. So make sure you apply for your OPT 3 months before your graduation day. For me, I think I applied for my OPT in March, first week in March, and that's why it took longer for me to get approved, because my OPT took long before it was approved, and that's because I didn't submit at the right time. So do not make that same mistake that I made, not to submit at the right time, because it can be depressing and then scary. So just do the right thing at the right time. The rule says 90 days before graduation, before completion of your program. So be sure to do that. So the 60 in this rule is after your graduation, you have 60 days to finish up your OPT application after graduating. But I personally recommend that you do it before graduation because it makes things faster and easier. And then the second 90 is for you to get an employer, like get an employer ASAP. As soon as your card arrives after your OPT has been approved, you get an employer. On the EAD, you see your start date and your end date, and basically that's how it works. That's how it works basically. I don't know if I've made any sense with this information, but I hope this helps somebody. So how do I apply for my OPT? First, like I said, do your research, listen to other people's stories, how they did it, and also USCIS should be your friend when it comes to things like this. So the first thing is for you to go online. There's a form you have to fill. The application is basically online, no mails, nothing. And if you don't have a USCIS login details yet, make sure you do it because it makes you getting information easier. So do not pay or submit payments to USCIS until you receive the OPT recommendation. That is, like I said earlier, you have to communicate with your DSO. It's your DSO that will give you another I-20 that is going to show that, okay, you've graduated, you finished your program, and it's time for you to get OPT done. So they kind of like change the dates for you to stay in America. I don't know if I'm making any sense. For me, I graduated May, and then my I-20 was supposed to expire that May. But because I had consistent communication with my DSO, she was able to change my I-20 for me, and then it was showing my start date to end date for OPT. It might not be accurate, but it's going to increase your span or your staying details. Okay, to make it easier for you guys, I'm going to list out the steps. Okay, like I said earlier, first is your I-20 has to be updated by your DSO or whoever is in charge. Then you review it and make sure your name, your program, your date, and everything is correct. Print, sign, scan your signature and upload it on your online application, because you need to upload your I-20 on your application. So make sure everything that needs to be on that I-20 is completed before you upload it on your online application. What do you need to do after you submitted your OPT application online? Basically nothing serious, but you have some things to do. First, there was an app that I downloaded that helped me to follow up with it. It's called Lawfully. You can download it if you want. If you don't necessarily have to. You can just keep logging in on USCIS to get information about the progress you've made so far. So you just basically have to wait for your OPT EAD card. EAD card is Employment Authorization Card. That is what you're going to use or give to your employers to start working. So you have to wait for that to come before you can do any work, before you can do anything. So it takes 30 to 45 days for you to get approved. So it takes a lot of patience, a lot of prayer, because you never can tell the number of students that are also waiting for the approval. So you just chill, relax yourself. Okay. And then when you receive the EAD card, you fill out your OPT employer form. You fill in the details of your employer, that is your employer's name, your role in the company, just for them to confirm that this person's employer is related to the degree the person got, that kind of thing. Then you submit a copy of your EAD card to your employer or to your DSO. That is also necessary. Then you also submit a copy of your offer letter from your organization. You have to upload that too online. There's this other website that you get from USCIS for you to upload all this information. So don't worry about it. You don't really have to stress over it. Basically, once you get your EAD and you already have an employer, just put the information about your employer in that website, because it's actually very, very important. And also let your DSO know that you already have an employer and she also has the information of the employer. I didn't really have to stress because my DSO was my friend. So I was communicating with her. I was doing what I was supposed to do, and she was giving me information that needed to be given. So do not take it for granted. Try to maintain communication with your DSO, like I have been saying. Yeah, that's it. Basically, that's what I did. And for job applications, start now. That's what I'll say. Go on Glassdoor, go on Indeed, go on LinkedIn. Keep applying. That's all I did. That's what I did. I kept on applying.